What's up guys, welcome back to the Piston Show. I'm Keshi Dillon and today we have here with us the Volvo EX90. Now it was introduced to the world sometime last year, and now though we are just a couple of weeks away from the local introduction of the Volvo EX90 for the Malaysian market. So what can you expect? What kind of features will it have? What type of specifications will it have? I'm going to tell you everything there is to know for the Malaysian spec Volvo EX90. Of course, there's some stuff that's still being hidden, so I can't tell you everything, but the car is here. So I'm going to take you for a walk around, as well as show you what you can expect for the interior of the car. So stick around. Let's start off with the design. Now, it's obviously a car that shares a lot of similarities besides the size with the Volvo EX30, particularly the headlights. This pixelated Thor's hammer is something that we first saw with the EX30, and it's obviously very good looking. It also is animated, so every time you approach the car or exit the car, it looks really cool. And besides that, I think that the entire front end of the EX90 sort of suits the overall design of the car. Now this is a massive, massive car. Somewhere about 5 meters long. In fact, that's roughly about 15 feet long. That's just an indication of how ginormous this car actually is. But then again, when you first see it, it doesn't feel like it. But when you start looking into the dimension sheets, it's a very big car. Now, besides that though, you get a bunch of technologies. Of course, it's a Volvo, right? So it has to come with a bunch of technologies. In fact, it is said that this EX90 is the safest Volvo ever produced. We'll get into the details later, but for now, there's also a radar and a camera up here. There's a bunch of radars and cameras all around to look out for things that you don't see. Of course, you'd expect that from a Volvo as well, wouldn't you? From the side, well, you get 21-inch wheels, but for some markets, they get 22-inch wheels. Now, this is wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport EV tires. Brilliant. And then from the side over here, now, you get the Volvo XC90 sort of silhouette, but this is also a great place to show you how big this car actually is. It's huge, and I thought I was tall. Of course, not the tallest around, but I was tall. But this thing, I can't even look at the roof of this. Anyway, this is what you call a reductive design philosophy, because even though the dimensions of the car suggest a very, very big car, but it does not seem like it. It looks very approachable at the same time. It's not intimidating. You know who made this design philosophy popular? Range Rover did. The Range Rovers are generally very big cars, but this reductive design philosophy has worked very well for the EX90 as well, because again, it's huge. Now you might be wondering what this thing is over here, and some prankster might just, put on a taxi sticker at the top over there, and that would be quite funny. But the fact of the matter is, that is Volvo's crown. That is the LiDAR technology, and this actually shows you, or actually sees what's ahead of the car, things that you as a driver or a passenger may not see. The LiDAR technology can see anything up to 250 meters away and then respond accordingly. That, my friends, is nearly a quarter of a kilometer away. Things that you will not see. Now, in line with Volvo's direction, the EX90 is a strict EV. Now, before I jump into the details such as the performance of the car and such, let's talk a little bit about what's underneath it. Underneath it is an SPA platform. Now this platform is not shared with any other car besides the Polestar 3. So in the entire Geely group of brands and models and such, the SPA is shared with the Volvo EX90 and the Polestar 3, which means that for you Volvo fans, this is good news, because this, you can consider it to be a proper Volvo. Now, underneath it is an 111 kilowatt hour battery. Now, depending on the specifications, which I do not have access to at the point of shooting this video, it's either a lithium ion battery or a nickel manganese battery. Charging it now it can take up to a Type 2 as well as a CCS2 charger. It accepts 250 kilowatts of DC charging, which will recharge it from 10 to 80% in just 30 minutes. And it also has an 11 kilowatt AC charger. And to replenish the battery from 0 to 100%, roughly about 11 hours. But what's unique about this is that it also has V2G technology, vehicle to grid. Now, you can basically reverse this entire thing and charge up appliances, charge up your home, charge up other EVs, and in the future, you may also be able to sell energy back into the grid. Now, in a Malaysian context, I'm not yet sure whether how TNB is going to approach this, what's the process like, or even if they will allow it to happen. But it's very satisfying to know that your EX90 is quite capable of that. At the back over here, wow, I really like the design of this Volvo EX models. Even the EX30 looks really good from the back. The EX90 does as well. I like this tiny pixelated lights over here, they're rectangular, and then this, it just sort of jives with the overall design of the car. It looks really good, guys. It's simple yet beautiful. Just how it should be. This doesn't try very hard. And then over here, you get another ginormous boot space, and it's a 7-seater. However, having said that, there's some markets where you'll get the EX90 as a 6-seater together with captain chairs and such. Here though, what I'm seeing is a 7-seater. Now this is particularly cool as well, because there's this engraving over here that sort of shows you what will fit inside the EX90. So stuff like strollers, cabinets, golf bags, lamps. What's interesting over here is that a washing machine will fit, as well as a fridge. And then, how will that fit though? Anyway, obviously you have to fold the seats, fold that seat, and fold the seats in front. And now you can imagine how big of a boot space, storage space this is. But even with the seats up in place, it makes this funky sound before it comes back up. You get the headrest in place. But even with its seats in place, which is good for 7 passengers, keep in mind, you still get plenty of storage space over here. But that's not all, because you get this rather deep storage space over here, which obviously has been used for the cables. But I reckon that you can also store other stuff for in a weekend's getaway. This is quite cool. And what I like about the third row seats is that it also comes with its own air conditioning vents. So it's quite comfortable for long distance journeys, even for the third row passengers. And in case you're wondering, yes, it does come with a frunk. Now, before I jump inside and show you the interior, I'd just like to take your attention to the seats, because these are wrapped in something called Nordigo leather. Now, the entire interior is made out of 50 kilograms of recycled material, and even the seats are made out of recycled materials as well. So, it's very much in line with Volvo's sustainable policies. Now, the interior is obviously, sort of in line with Volvo's design philosophy, but then at the same time, it's an evolution of it. Check out this vertically mounted 14.5-inch screen over here. Now, it's powered by Google, which means that you get Android software. But having said that, it also comes with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, YouTube, which obviously only works when the car is stationary, and such. Now, the entire car, everything about this car is centered around this screen, which means that you have to take your eyes off the road to adjust simple things, such as you're driving over here. This is everything about your driving dynamics, your safety assistance and such. And then besides that, your controls, your interior brightness, your child lock systems, your mirrors and wipers. Your steering wheel is adjusted through here as well. Now this is telling me to adjust it this way. So now I adjust it through these buttons over here. See? Previously, there was a dedicated button, usually located towards the side or the bottom of the steering wheel. But simple things like that is still, you still need to dive deep into this infotainment screen to adjust basic stuff. But, and I'm glad for this, that your air conditioning controls, you still use simple toggles because, and I'm talking to some of the Chinese EV makers because I got a bone to pick because they overcomplicate stuff. This is how you adjust air conditioning vents. Having said that, I just pointed to something that is one of the biggest sort of evolutions of the interior of the EX90, because keep in mind that some might say that this is an electric version of the XC90, but is it really? Because the XC90 comes with vertically mounted air conditioning vents. This though has a very nice, neat, simple interior, just the way it should be. But even though a lot of controls are located in this infotainment system over here, but then again, the key controls, such as the air conditioning vents and such, are located in a very traditional way, which I appreciate. And then you also get a 25 speaker Bowers and Wilkins sound system. Wow, 25 speakers. But I just want to take your attention to this speaker over here. Check out how cool it looks. It looks like it's floating of sorts, and it's just so nice. So this is ultra cool. This I appreciate. And besides that, you get this leather trim, and it sort of has all these dots on it, but I think this is either lit from the inside or I can't figure this out. I'll look into it in detail when I actually drive this car. Besides that, you also get a digital instrument cluster up ahead of you. Sitting position is fantastic. As I've been reading a lot about the reviews of what people are saying, who have driven this car are saying, and there are really good things about this car. Some are saying that this is just a better buy than the likes of the Audi Q8, the Mercedes EQ series, as well as the BMW iX. I sort of believe them because from what has a first impression, this is quite nice. And it also comes with double glaze technology, double glaze windows, air suspension technology and such, which means that this is quite promising. I'll dive into the details shortly, but before that, let's go check out the back seats. But before we jump to the back, let me just show you how you operate these window switches over here. Now, if I press this obviously opens the front window. But what if I wanted to open the back windows? Traditionally, you'll have a bunch of buttons over here on the door panel, including 4 buttons for the 4 window switches. But now you only get 2. So to open the back windows, you press this. See how this is lit up? Now I can open the back windows. And if I wanted to operate the front windows, I press this again. And now I can operate the front windows. Even the door handle, the door switch is this electronic switch over there. Now the back seats of the EX90, spacious, comfortable for sure. The backrest is retractable. You get air conditioning mounted on this pillar, which means you get cool air blowing to your face. You get a massive panoramic roof, which unfortunately does not seem to come with a shade, but you might be able to buy that on the aftermarket. accessories list. And you also get your own air conditioning vents over here, a bunch of USB ports all around. What more could you want? Most importantly, it's comfortable. So what can you expect for the Malaysian market in terms of variants? Now, Volvo Malaysia is still keeping tight-lipped. So let's use Thailand as an example. Thailand has 3 different variants. Some markets only have 2. These 2 powertrain options are firstly the twin motor variant, which gives you 408 PS and 770 Newton meters of torque, 0 to 100 seen off in 5.9 seconds, together with a 600 kilometer range. Now that is the variant that is most likely to be launched in Malaysia from the get-go, and that is a 7-seater. Later on, you can also expect to get the twin motor performance variant, which gives you 517 PS and 900 Newton meters of torque, 0 to 100, 4.9 seconds, together with a 590 kilometer range. Now, in Thailand, you also get the twin motor performance Ultra variant, but that has everything that the twin motor performance variant does, except that it comes with 6 seats. So what about pricing? Well, again, not much indication as of when we were shooting this video, but you can expect a price range of roughly around the 450,000 ringgit region. Now, I can't wait to drive the Volvo EX90. Everything seems promising. I like the simplicity, I like the quality, especially the design and the technology. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button.